there's our purpose statement. I won't read it. It's got a lot of big words in it, but you can read it there for yourself. We're very optimistic about the future. Despite the pandemic, the VA has compensated greatly, coming up with many initiatives. A lot of the veterans have been able to do their compensation and pension exams through their cell phone instead of having to go to a facility. And the same thing with all their doctor visits and everything. I mean, I use the VA myself. I go to Hines in Illinois, and they called me on the phone and were able to do all my appointments over the phone. They didn't want me to come to the facility because the COVID there was, you know, they were treating a lot of COVID patients there. So it's really been working out good. They've been compensating accordingly. And they're even talking about having VA appeals hearings. We might even be able to have them like in our office. It's good to still have somebody in the room that can represent the veteran. We still will have the American Legion and the different service organizations intervene, but that would be a nice thing. And it's a good thing we do have the grant because we have the means to do all those things. So we have the Polycom, Skype. We can do any kind of platform that the VA comes up with to facilitate that. Let's see here. Today, we don't see any foreseeable risks or threats with any of our strategic goals. Part of that is because we are getting a lot of grant funding from the state. In fact, I cut my budget for the burials. The burials have been down a bit, and I've explained that in the past to different commissioners. There's a means test with it, and less people are qualifying for it, and we're running into a lot of peacetime, like the periods between World War II and Korea is peacetime, and the period between Korea and Vietnam is peacetime. So we got a lot of demographics in there, and you have to have at least a day of wartime service to qualify for the County Veterans Burial Fund, according to current rules. So everything so far is going very good, and we're very optimistic despite the pandemic. Now, I want to highlight some of this red. I want you to look at my notation on the bottom there. The reason you're seeing a lot of red in my report is because grant funds have been mixed with county general funds, and I've made that notation on the bottom there. So it's kind of skewing the figures, and there's a separate sheet that was printed out that I think you all got a copy of. I gave it to Annette, and they all got it. That kind of shows that. So when you're looking at these figures and you're seeing any red, I mean, we have been right on budget or under budget with everything. I've not gone over on anything. I mean, I've needed to ask for contingency funds for, like, for example, we need more flag grave holders. We get those every 6 or so years. So those kind of things are, you know, just things we need to do. But just so everybody understands that, the county, although we pay to have them made up, we charge municipalities and service organizations for those. So it's kind of a zero-sum situation. Are there any questions on this page before I turn? Okay. Same thing with this. That's why you see the red in there. That capital outlay with the green there, yeah, it's really big there because that's a lot of the money we use to build that room that we have with all the electronics, the Polycom and the Skype systems and all the other electronics in there. We've greatly used that room. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that room later, but these are the figures for this. And again, MBA grant funds were mixed with county general funds. Are there any questions on this page?
Doug, is that appropriate? I mean, we're okay doing it that way?
What's that?
Mixing funds from grants and non-grants?
If you don't have any other home, then you need to run it through your general fund. Some other grants, we do have specific funds set up for them. We don't have anything for them, so we did run it through the general fund because the general fund is going to be supplemented. So.
Well, but if Lee's going to continue to get grants, would it make sense to rethink that and give him his own?
It may be at some point.
Something for you guys to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, same thing here. Now this is a little different. Look at the bottom notice. Donated funds mixed with county general funds. We've actually had a lot of appreciative people. You know, when we do things for them, we have to tell them up front, we can't take any gifts. It's kind of an ironic situation to be in because we'll have a veteran that first comes in the office, they're very angry because they just heard about us, you know. And I can relate to that because when I got out of the military, I didn't even know this office existed. The military doesn't tell you about this office. And we still have Vietnam veterans, World War II veterans that come to our office that didn't even know we exist. And so a lot of counties and even the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency has heavily encouraged us to use advertising to get the word out. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later because a lot of people don't even know that we still exist here in Marion County, believe it or not. Even though we've been on radio and newspaper, and I mean, if we had a TV station, we'd probably run some TV ads, but we don't. So we've tried to get the word out as best. Senior citizen flyers, we've done all that we can do to get the word out. But these are, the reason you see some red here is because we have some donations that are intermixed with county general funds. So any questions on this page? Okay. All right, now here's the explanations for the different things here. And like I say, I'll have, on the top title here, I'll have like MVA grant funds mixed with general funds. I think I've kind of already covered that. This particular line item is because last year we had 2 temporary veterans assistants. We had 1 this year, but we laid them off because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we got both of these